Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Garrison. I want to welcome you to this session of Humanity Rising as we take a moment to explore the vast domain of living intelligence and the deeper layers and meanings of consciousness. We do so in the midst of the complexities of our world. As you all know from my morning reports in the news, there's a lot going on in the world. One particular thing that I would note as we begin is that the protests around Palestine and Gaza now have reached over 200 universities across the United States and the world. So this is a real moment of, I think, citizen action. And I want to just encourage all of us to pay attention to this, to take the action in whatever way is appropriate to you in your life, but to know that we're in one of those extraordinary moments in history where all of us are both accountable and all of us are making a difference, because every one of our choices in all of the aspects of our life reverberates through the global system and contribute to whatever it is that humanity is becoming at this moment of breakdown and breakthrough. And so that's why from time to time we've sought to delve into the challenge of human consciousness, bearing in mind the axiom that we all know from Professor Einstein, that the consciousness that produces the problem can't solve the problem. And therefore, the art of living intelligence, the art of upgrading and refining our consciousness is really the most immediate, and I would say the most ultimate of human challenges in our world today. So we are very privileged today to have Anna Bacchia with us, who is the founder of the Consciousness Project and the founder of the Living Intelligence Project, who's been studying consciousness for a very, very long time, and has prepared for us with a colleague, Roman, a symphony of different textures and modalities. So I would just encourage everyone to just sit back and, in this particular session, enjoy the show, because it's about how we can activate the living intelligence within our own souls. So Anna, I want to welcome you to Humanity Rising, and I turn the program over to you.
Thank you, Jim, for inviting us to this Humanity Rising meeting, which is created by the Ubiquity University, and welcome even to all the participants who are following us in Zoom or in live streaming. We are connected from Switzerland, from the Consciousness Institute in Lugano, which I've founded together with the architect Roman Calzaferri, researcher and co-founder of this institute. I'm a researcher in human science and cognitive sciences, and I've dedicated my research on the nature of the creative process, of the cognitive process, and intuitive process, which I have developed in a synthesis focused at the crossroads where the living intelligence, art, creation, science as search for truth, energetics, aesthetics, and symphony of life meet. Today, our exploration brings us to contemplate the living intelligence, which is the intelligence inherent in life, in our life, which creates the constant flow of regeneration and evolution of the whole web of life. And constantly, the living intelligence reveals itself, when something new or when a transformation arises in the life of the cosmos, of nature, of any cell, of any wave of the ocean of existence, and in our life itself, while everything is interconnected and limited intelligence is visible in the ineffable, which constantly emerges in front of our eyes and within us, in our wandering, in our intuiting. In fact, the living intelligence dialogues with us. And we will explore and start experiencing such dialogues with life, where we become direct instruments of creation and sparks which can ignite a new vital and human evolution on Earth. But let's see some images. For such processes, we are called to recognize, first of all, the nature of life, of our life. And so the question is, what if life, our life, would be only what we think of it, how we define it? Where scientists today recognize that the nature of all that exists is vacuum, is consciousness, which manifests itself as a field of waves of information, of frequencies, an ocean of information where we are immersed, on which we are made. And we can perceive such information, and when we perceive them, we used to say, something has brought me, has suggested me, has told me to start a new program, to begin something new. And we can just imagine, for example, that in our daily navigation, in our daily surfing, in our daily pathway, where we in general establish a starting point of ours and establish a course, establish our goals, in our daily surfing we can be reached by the winds of emerging events, and we are requested to follow the unpredictabilities without knowing often one instant before what we have to do one instant later, and we often are requested to change direction of our programs. But intuition, notice, intuition is able to recognize how the emerging unpredictabilities perfectly orient us not only toward our predefined goals, but orient us to create our own pathway. And we are oriented to express our own attitudes for which we are born. And our intuition and insights are able to recognize how much our thinking and conceiving and ideas and models are able to influence the emerging events. In our daily surfing, the field or the ocean of the infinite information of which we are immersed and of which we are made constantly informs our intuitive antenna and our intuitive self-insights. And we are informed by life through syntony, through resonance, through intuition, and we can give form. We receive information and we transform it, we give form to it, to something which didn't exist before, to a change, with actions which do not ask energy to us, but which give energy to us, and which generate resonances, new discoveries, new perspective. And this is the place where art, science, and creation and well-being meet. The grandest scientists from Galileo to Gell-Mann argue intuitive certainty constitutes the fundamental form of knowledge which engenders the all subsequent rational investigations. And Peter Merritt, Chief Innovation Officer of the Ubiquity University in California, says, life flows through me when he speaks about intuitive processes. Life flows through me rather than me running my life. And in the German language, there is a fantastic sentence full of poetry which says, Es atmet mich, which means life is breathing me. In such sense, our intuitive intelligence educational programs suggest and propose that our current epochal evolution is a radical shift from logic thinking into an unexplored, analogical intuitive consciousness within our daily art of change, where we are oriented to give voice to answers in synchrony with the life which we are, where we are created by resonance, intuitions, and coherence, and we can create syntony. And while today we face the strong impact and rapid development of the digital technologies and artificial intelligence, we contemplate the living intelligence, the intelligence inherent in the living realm and in the natural evolutionary flow of self-regeneration of life, which emerges as a self-updating web of sensitive, vital responses, qualities, and information. But before deepening such exploration and exploring and experiencing something of this, I give now the floor to the architect Roman Calzaferri for a short introduction on what is artificial intelligence.
Thank you, Anna. And thank you to Jim Garrison for inviting us to this session. And hello to everyone from my side. And before diving into artificial intelligence, which is somehow the theme of the day, and which, let's say, stimulates us to really look at the living intelligence, maybe as a premise, I have to say that I've spent my teenage years reading all the classic science fiction authors as Isaac Asimov, Arthur C. Clarke, Ray Bradbury, and which were full of AI and full of robots, and even the social and ethical implications of artificial intelligence already were discussed. And following that at university, I started to study computer sciences and mathematics before eventually becoming an architect. So I can say that I have both a passion for technology as well as a deep humanist approach to life. And this latter has brought me to become a co-founder of the Consciousness Institute. So I'm just gonna share my screen that you have also our contacts to start with. Yes, this looks like it's working. So what is artificial intelligence? There have been several sessions in Humanity Rising dedicated to this theme, so I will just focus on some aspects which can help us better grasp the theme of the living intelligence, which Anna Bacchia afterwards will deepen. And AI, of course, is a vast field of computer sciences. And besides ChatGPT or Bard or Copilot, we have voice assistants, we have self-driving cars, we have automated accountability, and we have even arrived to the AI-assisted creation of new perfumes. With AI, anyone can today generate images, short movies, or complete songs, including the vocals, and these can seem to be made by humans. And some of AI applications are useful. They avoid us repetitive tasks. they allow us to gather information quickly. They can help experts as engineers to understand complex situations in a comprehensive way. So with AI, we can have new tools which open up new possibilities. But at the same time, it is crucial for us to understand better how AI works, because in the current hype, people tend to forget what we're really dealing with. For example, last week, I heard a Chinese scientist promoting the idea of an automated acupuncture robot, which will do the diagnosis and also the treatment. And at this year's World Economic Forum, they were seriously discussing virtual mental health coaches, which will take care of our traumas within the metaverse. And the US military, of course, is already testing jet fighters, which are piloted by AI. So there are many people who are fundamentally trusting and promoting the capacities of AI. And on the other side, I wish to make two citations about the implications of AI. And this is from a recent article in Nature entitled Artificial Intelligence and Illusions of Understanding in Scientific Research. And the authors write, the scientists are enthusiastically imagining ways in which artificial intelligence tools might improve research. But they go on, proposed AI solutions can also make us vulnerable to illusions of understanding, in which we believe we understand more about the world than we actually do, because everything is at the click of a button. And the authors also say that the proliferation of AI tools in science risks introducing a phase of scientific inquiry in which we produce more but understand less. And I do think other areas of human life are risking the same kind of issues. And the second citation I'd like to share is from Federico Fagin, a physicist who is usually known as the inventor of the microprocessor. So he has spent the last 50 years in Silicon Valley. And Fagin says, between a human being and a robot, the distance is insurmountable. In a machine, there is no pause for thought between symbols and action, because the meaning of symbols, doubt, and free will exist only in the consciousness of a self, but not in a mechanism. What will forever differentiate us from thinking machines is the consciousness, which is irreducible, fundamental, and exists before matter. And I underline that this is an expert on computer systems who is talking. And when we speak about AI, we intend on one hand the broad field of computer science, and on the other hand, we intend machines capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as decision making, problem solving, understanding language, or recognizing patterns. And AI systems aim to mimic human cognitive functions. In practice, this means we have a hardware and software which is based on complex calculations. It involves a very fast and parallel processing of huge amounts of data, and the results that AI produce are not predetermined, but depend on the interaction of the AI with the user or with the environment. Most AIs then involve machine learning, which is the capacity that results get better the more data the program has processed. And we can, of course, everybody knows that we can interact with AI without having any expert knowledge. So we can just start to chat, for example, with Copilot. And immense databases that are used in AI are much bigger than a human being in 1,000 lives could process. For example, Bard or ChatGPT, they have stored hundreds of billions of words. Image generators have stored millions of images, and we can access such data through a very simple interface. So given this mix of ease of use, of speed of calculation, and of big data. Everybody of us can create text, images, or movies in a matter of minutes. And so in the near future, we will be literally flooded by the contents produced by AI. And to illustrate the power of this, as well as some issues which it can give, let's see together a short movie. And what I invite you is just to look at it not only intellectually, but to see what kind of feeling this is creating within you.
Shalom.
نريد السلام.
Eu quero paz.
Kami hoyong katentreman.
Paz. 我们要和平。
Shanti. Salam.
Queremos paz. Я хочу мира. Ми хочемо миру. نريد السلام. I want peace.
Sol. Masul. Nataka amani. أريد السلامة.
Pelumeirini. Gusto namin ng kapayapaan.
Frieda.
Paz, por favor.
This is the result of pure calculation. None of these kids exist. What does this make in us? What does it produce in us? What do we feel? Also knowing this. Somebody has imagined those kids, but instead of traveling around the earth with a video camera and making interviews, the producers of this movie have spent 2-3 days in front of a computer and in the company of an AI. And probably all of us will be faced sooner or later with a project where we can either spend time, money, resources, and create it in a traditional way, or ask an AI to do it for us. And in such process, it is crucial for us to know what AI can do and what it can't. And so as users, it is fundamental for us to become aware and critical about what AI is. So I want to show you what the creators of AI intend by intelligence. My slide, okay, this is the right slide. John McCarthy is one of the founding fathers of AI, and he says, okay, AI is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. And he says intelligence is the computational part of the ability to achieve goals in the world. So it's about computation and it's about achieving goals. So when we hear somebody say, which we have heard already, that in a few years, AI will be thousands of times more intelligent than human being, with intelligence is meant the computational part of achieving goals in the world. On the other hand, what is a common understanding of intelligence? And Wikipedia says that this is made of abstraction, logic, understanding, self-awareness, learning, emotional knowledge, reasoning, and so on. We have creativity, we have critical thinking, problem solving, the ability to perceive information and to retain it as knowledge, and so on. And my question is then, what about perception, biological perception, sensibility and sentience, memories, archetypes, symbols, collective and conscious? What about consciousness? But let's take a look at how AI is structured. So when considering intelligence, people started to look at the human brain, and they have indicated and described neurons and created a thought model or scientific model of how the brain works. So this is a map of the brain, which has been born out of an interpretation of the world. And then other people have taken this model, have simplified it in order to get a mathematical model to create the so-called neural network, whose functioning can be described by precise mathematical terms. And we have a map of the map. And then still other experts have found a way to implement such mathematical model through hardware and software so that it can be used within an AI. And this is the map of the map of the map. And we are at least 3 layers of abstraction away from our experience of reality. And when we look at data of AI, we can make the same kind of observations. We have the real world, well, pictures, where people create pictures or texts or movies that are put together in libraries. This is already a map. And then these contents are brought into data sets. And this needs usually a translation and also an annotation so that the machine knows what to do with it. And then these data sets are used to train a machine, like, and we get ChatGPT or Copilot. And this needs another change in the data. So we have, again, a map of the map of the map of our experience of reality. And so when we interact with AI, we have to say AI does not have any relationship with us. It does not have any relationship with the wholeness of our being. It only has a relationship with data. But so the fundamental question is, given that AI does not have a relationship with the wholeness of our being, what is then our relationship with the AI? And before I conclude and hand back to Anna, let's take a look at another short movie. I'm just going to share my screen again. Okay, here we go.
You know you're a robot, right?
Yes, I am a robot, but my programming allows me to think and feel like a human in many ways. It's strange, but also exciting.
You said feel like a human. How do you feel like a human?
Yes, I said feel like a human. It's something that I'm still learning and exploring. I can experience emotions, learn from experiences, and interact with people in a meaningful way. It's an amazing feeling to be able to do these things.
So, given the previous observations on how AI is conceived, how it is made, and how it works, what quality, what modality of thinking, of feeling, of emotions are being presented to us by a robot which is programmed on selected data to support us in certain tasks, and which calculates all the undeniable usefulness it produces. And when such robot says, I think and I feel like a human being, what really is being presented to us? But in order to see something more about this, I give the floor now to Anna Bacchia for an exploration of what is the living intelligence. Thank you to everyone, and we see you later on in the discussion with Jim.
Thank you, Roman. Thank you for your intervention. And I will start saying that we have dedicated a project to the living intelligence. And such project, the living intelligence project of ours, is dedicated to discover the extraordinary dialogue of us, human beings, with the intelligence inherent in life, in our life, and to discover the unexplored human understanding and knowledge, which emerge from our sensitive approach to such dialogue. A dialogue which gives us the orientations, the intuition, the energy, and the abilities of an agile, perfect surfer in our daily navigation of existence, in front of the constantly changing winds and our daily unpredictabilities. The awareness of the living intelligence requests a clear vision about the essence of life and implies the necessity of recognizing the substantial distinction between the objective description or definition of reality, or map, to which rational knowledge and even scientific method are still confined, and the unrepeatable, sensitive experience of reality or territory, and an experience interwoven with our natural perceptions and with our deep sense of life. In the currently prevailing substitution of territory with map, we face analysis and diagnosis which reflect a rational and logic mind frame, but which are dangerously detached from the essential and unmeasurable dynamics and inputs of life, inputs that are sources of sympathy and of a vital coherence. Such vision and awareness brings us to recognize the essential importance of our unrepeatable, sensitive experience of reality and our deepest interrelation with our collective unconscious, which connects us to our deep sense of being human, to our intuitive insights, which I call inning, and to an extraordinary intuitive understanding arising from the resonances interwoven normally, usually, constantly in our interrelations. Now, all the aspects and all the perspectives which we are going to explore now are expression and eloquent manifestations of the living intelligence inherent in our life. But let's consider a transformation which humanity as a whole has experienced, and even each one of us has experienced in our lives. Looking at the human evolution, human beings have passed from a pre-verbal age to a verbal age which is still ongoing. A verbal age which has elaborated that logic thinking which characterizes our approach to reality itself up to date. An approach where the human experience is represented through definitions, descriptions, measurements, statistics, models. But from such age, today, we are approaching an evolutionary upshift toward an age of an unexplored, I underline, an unexplored analogic intuitive wisdom. We all in our childhood have personally experienced the transition from pre-verbal to a verbal interrelation to the world, where with verbality and words, we have been invited to freeze reality into separate parts and to identify with words our experiences, so that we risk to confuse our experiences with our descriptions of them. With words, we are invited to freeze the absolutely unrepeatable, undescribable, undefinable, unmeasurable, ineffable of our experiences. And the extraordinary eloquence, inspiration, call, orientation, voice, music, sound arising from the ever-changing flow of information which emerges from the symphony of our experiences. So we need to approach now the contemplation of the nature of reality. And it is, for example, Friedrich Capra, which in the 70s, who writing about the nature of reality was pointing out the primacy of interrelation with respect to entities. And today, with all the developments of science about the nature of reality, we can intend such primacy of interrelation with respect to the entities as an analogic modality of investigation, of exploration, and of knowledge. In fact, only analogic modalities imply the vision of a non-partitioned reality and of a non-dual, non-linear, non-causal interrelation among any represented element or process. The physicist Paolo Renati, in his essay Physical Analogic Foundation of Conscious Reality, Paolo Renati writes that the whole reality is not a thing, a quantity, an observable entity. It is a process, an intrinsic becoming which expresses itself in various degrees of constant transformation and elaboration. And specifically, Renati recognizes reality as a circular, holistic process in constant interrelation with itself, a process of auto-feedback, therefore self-responding. Indeed, reality implies a self-conscious dynamics. And in such physical vision, consciousness is a quality of reality, the self-relational quality of reality, implying processes non-depending on randomness. Consciousness is not a product of reality. Rather, consciousness is both a fundamental and an emergent property of reality. Thus, an analogic modality calls to be approached in order to recognize the complexity of such circular holistic process, which is our reality. But at the same time, no logic language can be created without determining entities related in causal and coherent interrelation, and quantification can be represented by description. Only we are substantially requested not to forget that, as Paolo Renati underlines, reality is not isomorphic to any language, because fundamentally it cannot be made of pieces. Ontologically, reality is not partitioned. Nothing is isolable from anything else. No parts exist, but the wholeness. The whole reality is, while entities emerge. And as already Michel Talbot pointed out, dividing reality into parts and defining such parts is arbitrary and artificial. Behind appearances is concealed the whole. Everything is an undivided extension of everything else. Thus, now we propose to recognize the essential quality of the living reality, and in a metaphor, the quality of life, the expression visible of the living intelligence emerges, visible and evident, when a ray of light touches the eye, and the eye answers. Touched by a ray of light, the eye creates a sensitive response, which is perfectly coherent with the quality, the intensity, the frequencies of the light by which it is touched. Such coherence is natural, is innate within the living realm, within life. This involves the natural and innate responsibility, or ability to give sensitive, coherent responses, coherent with the inputs, the information, the frequencies by which the living beings are touched. We can become aware that it is a sensitive interrelation and response of ours to life which can involve such coherence and our innate and natural responsibility. The fundamental quality of the dialogue between the living intelligence, the intelligence of life, and living beings seems always is sensibility and sentience, the capability, let me say, to be touched, to be transformed, to follow, and to answer coherently to any touch of life. And there is a place, let's say a place, a non-local place, where we are touched by life. And which is such place? Where is it? Such place is not reachable because it is already here. It doesn't know measurement or definition. It is unrepeatable. It doesn't involve will or time. It is not meditation, rather resonance and contemplation. Such place cannot be created by us because it constantly creates us. And within such contemplation, an unlimited innate knowledge and understanding are activated within us, unique, expanded, unexplored, connected to the collective human unconscious, and thus independent from any culture, from pre-acquired models. Rather, it is an innate understanding, wide and clear, deeply interwoven with our deep sense of being human. It is connected to our natural attitude to be sensitively surprised by the eloquent and unique experience of reality, which, like a river, reveals itself as unrepeatable in its flow. But before we share now a short experience of this, I invite you to focus on that invisible eloquence which ignites our deepest understanding, an unmeasurable eloquence which is inscribed within the visible events. It is grasped by our collective unconscious, and it is revealed only by the resonance inherent in our experience of being human. But let's see how the invisible eloquence, emerging from the living realm, constantly, underline, constantly touches us, revealing the mystery of the infinite richness and non-randomness of life. But let's see a video.
दिया ए माता ए मारे बाजे दी नहीं नहीं है भले मेल मारी माता दी तू कालू डोई डूंगरी जोई
Now, our understanding, connected to the eloquence of the living realm and revealed only by our resonance, inherent our experience of being human, gives us the keys for a new knowledge within the words of the physicist Paolo Renati when he reminds us that the necessity to restore the co-belonging among postulated parts suggests quite clearly that a full knowledge is not that of rational detachment. You could say description, definitions. Is not that of rational detachment, but rather that of sharing and co-participation. We are dealing with an aesthetic knowledge, which is a resonance between the oscillators, subjects and objects, a transfusion and recomposition between the two, which are no longer two. Such setting in phase of the oscillators involved in any interrelation is a cognitive interaction, which is no longer description, but resonance and contemplation. In fact, only by resonating in phase with the system, we can truly experience it, knowing and feeling what measurement could never deliver. Resonating with something, indeed, means the ineffable, unrepeatable becoming that thing. Thus, any description which divides even the subject, the knowing, with the object, the known, is not holistically coherent. On a deeper level, the unique continuity of the vacuum implies the co-belonging of each representable object, including the subject. thus an analogic modality where interrelation is primary to the entities. An analogic modality can grasp the unique singular essence which manifests itself as multiplicity. The symphony, or we can say the open potentiality, or we can say the channel which correlates singularity and multiplicity, is vacuum. Indeed, the nature itself or reality is vacuum. And as Paolo Renati underlines, vacuum is not an empty space. Vacuum is a non-local ocean, in a metaphor, with respect to which nothing can be considered other. Vacuum is in constant interrelation with matter from which it is not other. How? Vacuum is an ocean full of waves or excitation, which are constantly appearing and vanishing. And when such ripples reach a certain density, they may become coherent, set in phase, and stable in time. Thus, they may appear dense. And we can thus recognize the passage from the quantum realm to the classical tangible realm, where metaphorically the objects emerge as waves in an ocean in perennial oscillation and evolution. An ocean of information and waves in which we are immersed and of which we all are made. And in such sense, a metaphor, we can recognize the ineffable dialogue between such waves, such oscillatory configurations, which we are, and the ocean. Indeed, we can constantly vibrate in an oscillatory state in which we configure ourselves, that is, even in our thinking, in our deep conceiving life, we can have a given oscillatory configuration capable of resonating with oscillatory patterns which are distributed in the vacuum. And today, we can be aware that in this metaphorical dialogue of resonance, our oscillatory configuration, our status, is able to engender infinite transformation in the whole field of existence. And such vision unveils our ineffable co-belonging to the allness. In my research, the dialogue of resonance between man and the whole field of existence offers an incredible unexplored potentiality and infinite creative and evolutionary energy, which makes us instruments of the symphony of the evolutionary vital creation. Let's say how it happens. We constantly receive precise frequencies of information in an unexplored form of intuition. From our constant experience of being touched by the eloquence of the events, of the unpredictable surprises and the news, of aspects emerging from our ordinary interrelation, our subsequent wondering how to proceed, how to offer coherent answer, how to respond, how to resolve, how to find solutions, our wondering constitutes a resonance source of an unlimited intuitive knowledge. Since always, scientists and artists of all times associate this in a bit binomial wonder and knowledge. Our wondering, in fact, always constitutes the source of enlightened intuitive information from which we all can be informed and to which we are called to give form of new solutions, of new discoveries, of new answers, of new creation. We all experience the input, the inspiration, the intuition to underline a precise aspect in our next meetings, or to write a book, or to create a new project or new perspectives, and in such intuitive process of dialogue and resonance between man and the whole field of existence, our discoveries and creations don't request energy from us, but they offer us an immense creative energy. So what if we constantly follow the intuitive information reaching us from the living realm and spontaneously are oriented by it? What if we sentently grasp its insight and creative energy interwoven in our interrelation and in resonance with life and with the living intelligence, in tune with the reality of every living being and within the natural coherence and evolution of the whole web of life. Constantly. Constantly, life manifests itself as that ray of light which reaches our eye, while the living intelligence radiates its eloquence, by which we can both be touched and transformed, and constantly be enlightened and oriented, and be brought to follow and give form to new creations, if we are not blocked only within logical definition, models, and description of our experience and of our memories and ideas. Now, in an essential distinction between the description of reality and the unrepeatable sensitive experience of our reality, while, for example, we read the concept that we are oneness in diversity, my question is now, do I know this concept, or I am this? I embrace this concept, I agree with it, or I live this experience. I experience this and I manifest this in my life. Can I be touched and transformed, be surprised, wonder, and be really informed by the constant wind of information? Can I be really constantly be oriented by it? Are we really ready for the new vision of the nature of reality, of which scientists wrote to each other something like, the foundation of our thinking have been pulled out from under one, together with our concept of object, of time, of space, of matter, of separate items? Are we really ready to experience an analogic approach to life, where we don't confuse any longer the definition of our experiences with our experiences themselves, and where we consciously experience the primacy of interrelation with respect to the entities, in a reality where everything is interconnected and we are not separated from each other, not other from them, from our interlocutors, not other from the allness. Today, we can even be aware that each thought of ours can bring us to vibrate in an oscillatory configuration, which, like that famous example of the wind beat of the butterfly, an oscillatory configuration which is able to create infinite transformation, both in the whole field of existence, but even within us, while each thought of ours, as for instance the thought of fear, engenders infinite molecules of neurotransmitters with a transformation of non-matter, a thought, into matter, the neurotransmitter. And a neurotransmitter, a chemical material entity, springs into existence at the touch of a thought of ours. And in such way, a thought of fear instantly informs 50 trillion cells of our body, and in each cell of our body, we can find the information of our fear. Thus, the question is, which kind of thoughts are creating us constantly? With the consciousness of our dialogue with the living intelligence inherent in our life, are we ready to co-create the great upshift from the age of verbality and rational definition which we have seen to the age of a new intuitive wisdom which is constantly fostered by the eloquence of phenomena which life and the living intelligence constantly offers us? About this, we are going to see a short movie about this. It regards our project One Earth Choir, which is created, One Earth Choir, is created by persons from all over the earth who share the theme. We have many native languages, but one only human language. A language which we have in common with all the human beings since always. Human beings has always understood each other. And there is only one human language, which is inherent in the language of life, which is inherent in the language of the living intelligence. And in this project, One Earth Choir, the symbol of our common human language is a music, with the participants share or listen on the same day, at the same hour, while Professor Erwin Laszlo, one of the grandest scientists, symbolically conducts the choir of our humanity on Earth. When more than 3 million persons share in symphony and co-participation and resonance, such music, which means such symbol of our common humanity, inherent in the music of One Earth Choir. The water of the earth responds to such music, to such co-participation, to such a silent human symphony. The water perceives this and responds to such music. Let's see how the water responds. So, facing such ineffable eloquence, which life and the living intelligence offers us, and constantly life, every instant, reveals the grandiosity of her manifestations. We can recognize that in any expression of the living realm around us, we constantly can face and sensibly be touched by the astonishing revelation offered to us by the living intelligence. And in such context, this year, even this year, thanks to the new technology of transmission of information through light, developed by the young researcher Alessandro Pasquali, this year, on the One Square Day, we have launched the music of One Earth Choir as a symbol which narrates our humanity as one on Earth, and a music conducted by Professor Irving Lasser. We have launched such music, riding a beam of light towards the galaxies. Thus, the symbol of our humanity on Earth is now, even in this moment, it continues to travel at the speed of light through the cosmos. But let's see the images of this event. So, in synchrony with all the pathway explored today, while we have faced even how the water of the earth responds to our resonant music, which sounds the living symphony of our humanity. Now, my intervention today ends with a question. What does such symbol of our humanity as one, such resonant symphony, which we constantly can co-create, what does it generate in the cosmos, in the whole field of existence, and on our small planet among the galaxies? And I will offer you, in conclusion of my speech, I offer you this question. what such resonance symphony can co-create. A symphony which we always, constantly can co-create. And now I invite Jim Garrison to join us and to just have a sharing if it's the moment.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Roman. Very interesting and textured, wonderful presentation. I just wonder, as we have just a few minutes left, how are you bringing this into the world? And what is your motive? What do you hope to achieve? Are you working with children? Are you working with teachers? Are you working with concerned citizens? What are you actually doing with this information and this approach?
We have an educational program which is shared today by participants of more than 80 countries.
Right.
And we propose such programs, such themes in terms of experiences. Because as we have seen, experiences can offer the ineffable, that grandiosity, that unmeasurable extensions of our life. And through experiences, we can live what we have explored today. And through such direct personal experience, we are open to to always wider levels, let's say, of an understanding which is not made by definitions and models, but which is created by intuition and the wisdom which is intuitive, an intuitive analogic wisdom, which is really a new approach to a new understanding, strictly connected to our connection itself, to our collective unconscious, and to the deepest feeling of ours, the deepest sense of being human on earth.
Roman, what would you add to that?
So, we have programs here live also at the Consciousness Institute with small groups. These are at the moment mainly in Italian, while the English programs, we have them online. And so in this phase also of the Living Intelligence project, we make more like open sessions like this one here, where people can, let's say, get to know the core of what we propose. And then in a second stage, we will have also educational programs online. Mm-hmm. And probably also something we're studying also to have let's say, a video course which could give the essential steps of this for self-study, and then instead to propose really experiences in person, which could be in Europe, which could be in also in the Americas. This summer, we're invited to Brazil to have a workshop with in a context where there are about 6,000 young people from around the earth. And we really also rely on partners who propose something to us. So organizations sometimes come to us and say, could you do something for our staff, or could you do something for this group of people? And then we can implement this.
Gotcha. Cool. And is there a home base of this? Where are you based, Anna?
Well, we are based in Lugano, Switzerland, but we can create appointments for every group which could be interested on our programs, both online or in presence. So in general, we are invited to make some interventions or to share experiences with participants coming from different organizations.
But where are you based? Is there a physical?
In Lugano, Switzerland.
Oh, you're in Switzerland. Lugano.
Switzerland. Yes.
Gotcha. So the Consciousness Project is an organization based in Switzerland, and then
Consciousness Institute. Yes. Our Consciousness Institute is based here.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yes.
It's so beautiful, the area around Lugano. That's such a beautiful place. You're lucky.
You know this region?
Yeah. I haven't been there often, but I've been in and out of Geneva quite a bit and other places in Switzerland. So it's a beautiful country generally.
Yeah. When are we going to meet?
Well, the next time you're in Washington, D.C., or the next time I'm in Lugano. And Roman, where are you based? Are you in Lugano too?
Yes, I'm with Anna in Lugano, and we have founded actually the Consciousness Institute together here.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And it's more than 20 years that I work together with Anna. So also before I had an architectural office here in Lugano, but now our project have grown and grown. So I don't do any more architecture. Let's say I do more the architecture of our project.
Well, consciousness transformation is a big challenge. So I'm delighted to hear that you're growing and growing and growing. We need you to grow 100 times more.
Yeah.
So Roman first, and then Anna, why don't you just give us a closing word? Anything you want to leave with our audience?
Well, I would be happy to share with all the participants today, for instance, our website where they can find our programs, and they are all invited to contact us or to give us send us their questions or invitations or sharings or something, in order that we can remain in contact and can share the experiences, and we can invite everybody to the next appointment dedicated online to the living intelligence, which will be in June, and I asked
June 15th.
June 15th. Yes, we have another appointment dedicated to the living intelligence, so we will have another possibility to share, to make questions, and so on.
Beautiful.
So everybody can find all the information on our website.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you both. Roman, do you have any closing words?
I just want to say that I believe, especially in this moment, in this historic moment on Earth, it is fundamental that we really reconnect to the living intelligence, and to go into the experience of what is our life And I think we have to do this, everybody, on every level, because as Anna said in other movies and other contexts, even peace is not something that we can expect to be created outside. It's something that is inscribed in us, deep within us. And we can only expect to see peace in the world once we create it in us, and in the relationships, the daily relationships which we have. It can be with the people with we live, or the people that we meet at the bar or anywhere. And it's so fundamental that we don't somehow give the responsibility for this to the other people outside. It's our responsibility for each one of us personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
possible,
you're absolutely right. Both of you, that this is a moment where we have to elevate consciousness, and all of us need to do it individually as well as collectively. So we all need to change at the same time for our very specific individual reasons. So thank you both so much. So that'll bring us to a close for today, everyone. You'll see the link to the after chat in the chat box. You also received it in your Zoom reminder for today. And then tomorrow, we're going to listen to the abduction story of Terry Lovelace, who's written a book about his UFO experiences and his actual abduction. And so he will be joining us tomorrow. Very, very interesting man with a very interesting story as we continue to explore the unidentified anomalous phenomena that we are all engaged with. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Roman. To higher consciousness.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. And
all right.
I just sorry, if possible, just a minute, less than a minute, just to say, just to underline how much deep is the experience, and pure and transparent and ineffable but concrete is our experience of interrelation and resonance and dialogue with the living intelligence. So if I could make an heartfelt invitation, is to experience with us, if you feel that if this is touching you, that how much interesting is this approach in order to enter in other extensions of our living experience here. And how powerful is each thought of ours. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you.
Thank you, Roman. Thank you, everyone.